Hey everyone, today is March 28th, 2024, and I might upload this tomorrow morning. It's kind of late, might not get it all done before it gets too late tonight, so we'll see. But I want to cover the upcoming Eclipse on April 8th, 2024, and show you, of course we should already know this, but the two 666s that are associated with this eclipse. But before I do that, and actually kind of goes along with this video, I want to give a shout out to Sean and his channel. He did a live stream today, which was a really good live stream, but he has kind of, I guess, picked up on my wormwood coding from Revelation 8:11, and he's kind of brought a new take on things and some new calculations that are pretty interesting. And yeah, I'm really glad. I feel like he's kind of picking up where I left off, because I haven't done I guess you could say the hardcore wormwood decoding that I used to, and he's done a really good job with what he's doing with that on his channel. And one thing I wanted to talk about with the 666 is, I'm not sure if it was this video here that he did Dragon Ball, but he mentioned Revelation 13:17, and that has to do, right, with the mark of the beast, or the name of the beast. Of course, 13:18, the 666, the mark of the beast, right? But in one of Sean's videos, he mentions Revelation 13:17, which goes hand in hand with 13:18, which is interesting because we're talking about the wormwood event. And if we go back to the very first wormwood video I did, back in, I think, 2016, October 10th, 2016, I mentioned Revelation 13:18. Purely as the number relationship with this 141, right? When you do the permutations of 141, they sum to 666. And, you know, as my channel has progressed, many of the older videos that I've done, more and more things are connecting now. You know, we're 8 years later, or almost, you know, we're getting, you know, quite a few years now from the beginning of my channel, but all these things are kind of manifesting themselves from information that I showed you guys a long time ago. And it's no coincidence either that Sean on his channel kind of mentioned the same, that, you know, along the same vein with this number of the beast and the name of the beast. Because it's hugely important, and I can't wait to show you guys some of the things about that, about the name of the beast, and some other stuff that's connected to it. But I just want to recommend this channel highly. Like I said, he kind of has picked up where I've left off, because I've been kind of pursuing a kind of a side tangent with this, and it has to do with the 666. But yes, great channel. He's if someone was to pick up my work and run with it, he's doing a better than excellent job. So thank you, Sean, for that. And today, Lambda 115, he did my favorite video that he's done so far, this Revelation XX video. Excellent video. I recommend that. And then he's done a couple of videos recently about some of the numbers that I've covered in the past as well. And I just I really love seeing that, because I really think that, like, this 2319, both Sean and Lambda have done videos about it now, and I think it's super relevant, you know, the 2319 connection. And actually, this video that I did, this Revelation 19:19 and the beast, right? We're talking about the name of the beast, the number of the beast. But this is like one of my favorite videos that I've ever made, you know. And it's not one that I narrated it or did anything. It's just one that I made about the 2319 and Chernobyl, of course, because that's what my channel is all about, Wormwood, and Wormwood is Chernobyl. But this video, Revelation 1919, it's kind of interesting too that this year the Super Bowl was 19-19 before it went into overtime. So anyways, but it's one of my favorite videos. And actually, you know, the Apollo 11 moon landing ritual video that I did, that's the featured one on my page. That's another one that's just like, I just love this video. I have to thank Casey Jones, aka Bobby, for, you know, kind of teaching me the way the symbolism works in a lot of these events that we see in the media. They're pictures that the media takes, and what we see a lot of times it lines up with literally the planetary alignments that are in the sky on that day and stuff like that. So, and then, you know, knowing that and seeing a few examples that Bobby had shown me helped me figure out this, you know, the whole ritual behind the Apollo 11 moon landing. And I encourage you to watch this. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorite videos, and right along with this one, probably my two favorite videos that I've done. Anyways, but highly recommend Sean. Lambda's covered some of my stuff, and it's really nice to see that I think when other people pick up my stuff, I think then it really gives me some, it gives it some relevance to what I'm showing you, because I feel it's, you know, someone else is backing up the correlations for me. Okay, so got that out of the way. Going to cover a couple things here, and like I said, this eclipse coming up on 4/8/2024 is going to complete the X over Carbondale, Carbondale, Illinois, and the 2666s that I'm talking about, of course, is we have the magic square of the sun is 666, and it's going to be occulted by the moon, right? So the moon is going to cover the 666, and then we're going to have the X directly over Carbondale, Illinois, and carbon, the atom, is 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons for the other 666, right? We're Xing out Carbondale, the 666 atom connection, and then we're blocking the sun at the same time. So we have our two 666s, and it has to do with the name and the number of the beast. Okay, and I've alluded to in my last videos, and I'm going to show you this. Like I said, I'm really excited to show you some other things as well that I've covered in videos recently here, but all about the name. The name, especially the surname. The surname is the mark of the beast. And we'll get more into that, and I'll show you some pretty cool things. But coming up on the April 8th, we're getting these, two 666s related to what I would call like a Freemason ritual, like as above, so below, right? Because we'll have the 666 in the sky being blocked out, and then we'll have the 666 being X'd out on the land. So there's your as above, so below, on earth as it is in heaven, that type of symbolism. So it's pretty interesting ritual here that's coming up with these 666s. And the carbon, the atomic weight, if you look up the atomic weight for carbon, it's going to be 12.011. And, if we take a look at the time between the X eclipses, it's actually going to be 3 X's, but we're just going to focus on the Carbondale one for now. But from 8/20/2017 to 4/8/2024, it's 22 days. And, of course, the dead center of that is 1211. That's the numbers we have for carbon, the weight, the atomic weight of carbon. And then back in 2020, on the exact middle date between the eclipses, we had the Argentina solar eclipse, which I did a video about. Where's it at here? Yeah, back, let's see, I did this video back in December 29th, 2020. That was on that day of that exact middle eclipse that was over Argentina, 12/14/2020. That was the first U.S. Vaccination for the corona, and it was it was a African American lady, and her name was Sandra Lindsay, and I showed you all this before, but there's her name here, but had connections to the 8/11. And as you know, I just did a video about the Dred Scott decision. I showed you the birthing ritual with the Gateway Arch, and then the decision, the Supreme Court judge decision for the Dred Scott. I showed you all the Scott symbolism, and then Dred too. I bet if we went back and watched the movie Judge Dredd, there's a lot of stuff. I'm sure that's another reference to this decision, because it's super important. It has to do with citizenship. It has to do with who you are and what you are of, your identity. So super important. But the Dred and the Scott symbolism, you can go back and find a lot of that in movies and stuff. So we have the two 666s, talked about the middle eclipse, and like I just showed you guys here, the time between the two eclipses is 22 days. Now, something I got looking at here and kind of interested in recently was the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight coming up on July 20th, 2024, right? So his exhibition here, and and if you watch, go on YouTube and stuff, all these training videos with Mike Tyson, and he just looks, so badass, and they're really hyping up Tyson. And I really wish and hope that, like, this fight, when it happens, that they actually let it play out organically. But boxing, already the people in comments for these training videos and stuff, talking about how rigged the fight is going to be or whatever. But it would be very interesting if they just let these two fight and see what the organic outcome would be. But obviously Mike Tyson, if you watch his videos, he is definitely the baddest man on the planet. That is no joke. Even though he's 58 years old, he looks like he's a force to be reckoned with. Anyways, but I was looking at this Tyson fight, and I was looking on this Wikipedia page, and it says here that he claimed his first belt, like his first, title belt, at 20 years, 4 months, and 22 days old. 2-4-2-2, right? I mean, why would you? I've never seen anything like this on another Wikipedia page giving a exact age, that they won something or won a title or won a belt or whatever. But so they have the 2-4-2-2, exactly like the time between the eclipses. And I think, what is it? 7/20/2024. It's 103 days after the eclipse. Okay. 103, Mercury's 103. Talk about Mercury a lot. Mercury's commerce. Mercury's the messenger. But super interesting that it has that 2-4-2-2. And another thing I thought I would check out, just out of curiosity, since they have that number associated with those two eclipses. He was born on 6/30/1966, and if we go to that midpoint eclipse, it's kind of an interesting number because it's a perfect palindrome, 19891, a palindrome. So 19, 8, the infinity symbol, 91, 8th prime, and then the 13th triangular number. But super interesting that the very midpoint of the eclipse, he has a palindromic age in days, and then he has that right on his Wikipedia page. He wins his first title, 20 years, 4 months, 22 days. So interesting. he's been in the media, so I thought I'd check that out. And of course, there's something to that. There's probably a lot more I could figure out that would be interesting, but the last thing I want to talk about here, and this is very, very interesting because lately I've been trying to correlate these different Bible verses with, you know, and show you guys like a practical application of what these are talking about. And like this one here I talked about before, but you know, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And what they're talking about here, they're talking about the surname and your given name, your birth name. You're supposed to give them the surname first, so you'd write your surname first, and then you would write your birth name. And because the government, the state, the surname is theirs. I showed you that the Pope or the Vatican owns all the surnames, but right, they consider the surname superior, so you're supposed to give that to Caesar first. But we'll get more into that when I start showing you some of the other things. And then we have Leave the World Behind, right? That was another movie I did a decode on, or that I'm need to do the full decode on. But you know, here's kind of the Bible verse about, you know, that kind of talks about that. If ye were of the world would love his own, but because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Right? You know, you're not supposed to be, you know, you're in the world, but you're not of the world. So that has to do with that movie, Leave the World Behind, which we'll finish that out one of these days here. But and then of course, you know, Revelation 13:17, 13:18, the number of the beast, the name of the beast, the mark is the surname. What else do I have here? Now this is a new one that I've come up with here. Matthew 75, thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and thou shalt see clearly to cast out the mote of thy brother's eye. Right? What it means here is, like, you know, fix your own problems before you start helping someone else. But this beam is very, very interesting because another word for beam is post, right? And I was looking at, you know, I was trying to find all this stuff about post, you know, this theme with a post and a beam or a rod, and started looking at the post office. And this is super, super interesting, and hopefully you'll find it as interesting as I do. But given all the connections that I have shown with Mercury and different events with different presidents and stuff, and Bobby has shown, know the same thing, and I've learned a lot from him about checking the Mercury counts and all these events, because usually there's so many Mercury counts. And let's see, Matthew Perry, right? He died on his Mercury birthday. I think that was 10/28/2023, I believe, but he died on his Mercury birthday. JFK died on his Mercury birthday. But Mercury is a super, super important messenger. You know, he's the messenger, but it's a super important time period. The 88-day time period is super important, and a lot of things are going on that 88-day periodicity. So pretty interesting. But okay, so I'm looking at the post stuff. I'm talking about the post office. Well, the United States Postal Service officially began operations as an independent agency on July 1st, 1971. It was called Postal Service Day. And the post offices nationwide commemorated the day with a new postage stamp and a free souvenir envelope. Okay, so this is really crazy here, because I'll show you why here. But so let's go down here, and here it is. Here's the souvenir envelope and stamp here. But you notice here it has Jamaica, July 1st, 1971, Jamaica, New York. And immediately when I saw that, of course, it should jump into your minds if you know anything about Donald Trump. He was born in the Jamaica Hospital in Queens in New York City. So I thought, well, let me decide, or let me check this date, 7/1/71, for a Mercury count, because, right, the mail messenger, Mercury. So I thought I'd check it out, since Trump was born 6/14/1946. He was born in the Jamaica Hospital, and they have Jamaica canceled mark there. To 7/1/1971, and it's 91/48 days. We'll divide that by the, and it's 100. I mean, as close as you can get, but right on the money. 104 Mercury years. So on Donald Trump's 104th Mercury birthday, they had the establishment of the independent post office. And I talked to you guys all about the number 14 in my last video. And we have it's 104, 14, the 1-4, all the 14s. But on his 104th Mercury birthday, they had the beginning of the post office. And on their website, they show the Jamaica, New York stamp on there. So it's pretty wild, I think, because there's so many connections with Donald Trump and events on his Mercury birthdays. And actually, I should probably talk to Bobby again and actually put a list together of all the things that have happened on his Mercury birthday. And I've been looking in the future on his Mercury birthdays, and there's some pretty interesting connections to, his Mercury birthday. And then if you continue on with JFK Mercury birthdays, Mercury periodicities after his assassination, super interesting. But I thought this Jamaica, New York, and this commemorative envelope that they put up on this website was, it was absolutely perfect for Trump's 104th Mercury birthday for the start of the post office. And one thing that I'm going to be covering in the future here, Back to the Future, right? That's our 88 days, 88 miles per hour. The DeLorean is, represents Mercury. And one thing I want to show you and do a decode on, it's, in the first Back to the Future, Marty, when he goes back to he's like trying to escape the terrorists, right? And he has to jump in the time machine after Doc Brown is killed by the terrorists, but he jumps in the time machine to escape the terrorists, and he ends up going back to 1955. Well, as soon as he gets back to 1955, the very first thing that he hits is a straw man. Okay, and if you know anything about, right, if you know anything about the birth certificate, right, everyone calls it the straw man, right? So it's this whole scene here when he goes back to 1955. Is so coded. It's so coded because he hits the straw man. He ends up in the barn with the straw, and right, they think he's an alien. And then at the end of the scene, the family is out there, and and the dad has the shotgun, and he blows away his own mailbox, right, the post office, and it's super coded. And I'll do a full decode on that, and I have to show you other things too to go with it, but yeah, immediately after Marty gets back to 1955, he just blasts the straw man. So, of course, Back to the Future 2, right? All the connections to Trump, right? With Biff going back in time and getting the gambling, becoming like the richest guy in the world and stuff. But, and then Biff gets, he gets biffed with the Mercury, symbolism here when the door hits him in the face on the top of the building and stuff. But yeah, I'll try to do a full decode on that scene. But yeah, the post office, the Mercury counts, it's pretty wild stuff. And it all connects to this 1317, 1318, Mark of the Beast, 666, Leave the World Behind. Casting the beam out of your eye. Beam as a post. Yeah, we'll cover that in more detail, but I just want to kind of give you a preview of all that and give some props to Sean here. He's, like I said, if someone was to carry on my work, he's doing an excellent job. So he's figuring out some things and some different ways to calculate things. Because it's so interesting that this, there is no doubt that this wormwood from Revelation 8:11, that archetype, that symbolism has been permeating our reality, or the media, everything with calendar counts, media, events and everything. It's been permeating that this reality for 8 years, and it seems to be ramping up in the last couple of years because all these rituals are so important, and it's related to 9/11 and then Revelation 6:12 as well, the great earthquake. And the earthquake is, there's a ton of symbolism with earthquakes. And if you actually watch Lambda's video here that he did today, we know the X is over Carbondale, right? And Carbondale has the, it's right in the location of the New Madrid fault zone. But in Lambda's video, he shows the precise positions of the X's that are formed by the 3 eclipses from 2017, annular eclipse in 2023, and then upcoming one here in April. But the first X technically is formed over the Cascadia subduction zone right off the coast of Oregon, another earthquake zone, right? And then we have the earthquake zone in the New Madrid subduction or fault line too. So, yeah, guys, just super interesting stuff. Lambda's last few videos have been outstanding, and this is like his last video today just shot right to the top of my list. Great video. And yeah, so check these channels out, and we'll cover more of this Back to the Future stuff, more of the name stuff, the name of the beast, mark of the beast, and I'll show you guys some pretty cool things. So thanks for watching.